Hey everybody, it's Demiheals, back at it again with another review, and today we're taking a look at the Magic Square MS-B36 Doomsday figure. This figure is a legend scale Megatron figure designed to closely resemble his G1 portrayal and the official Takara MP36 Megatron figure, and by God, they managed to make a very sexy looking figure at that. Out of the box, this figure comes packaged in his robot mode, though his signature fusion cannon is not attached to start. With a simple plug-in and twist, the cannon's attached, however, and while there is nearly no painting on this figure aside from the back of his feet, which I'll talk about later, the sculpting of the figure is wonderfully done. It really feels like a shrunken-down version of the Masterpiece figure, at least in its robot mode. The chest is obviously missing the Decepticon insignia that the leader should have, but that's nothing a little sticker can't fix. If I had one. I really should invest in some with whatever third-party figure I get next. Any recommendations you may have are certainly appreciated down in the comments, by the way. Anyways, the figure as a whole also manages to avoid a situation that even the Masterpiece figure couldn't fully avoid, having a clean back. This figure's back has only a small amount of kibble at the back of the lower torso and a trigger tail, but other than that, managed to keep everything hidden and clean, and if it wasn't for some panel lines, I'd expect this figure to not even have an alternate mode at all. Also, let's talk for a minute about accessories. This figure comes loaded with tons of accessories and alternate features, so we're going to run down the whole list. First, alternate sculpt pieces. Doomsday here comes with 3 alternate faces, 1 shouting, 1 cackling, and 1 battle damaged. Going along with that battle damaged face, Doomsday has a battle damaged chest piece, and a chest piece without the sculpted detail, which does help make his alternate mode more symmetrical. Doomsday also has alternate hands in both balled fists and open hands. In terms of the rest of the accessories, Doomsday has pieces to combine with his fusion cannon to make a mini battle station, otherwise known as the silencer in the stock, an energy saber, a gun from the '86 movie, his energon mace both in fixed pose and on a chain possibilities, though, slight note here, the on a chain portion of the mace came as a chain with 2 screw pins and plastic ends not connected, and in the process of trying to get it to swap out for the fixed mace chain, I ended up busting one of the links connecting the chain to the mace ball. Thankfully, it came with a couple small magnets that still hold it together, but I advise extreme caution when dealing with the chain accessory. I almost broke the mace doing it for the filming. Okay, back to the regular stuff. He also comes with a little purple minifigure of the energy being Kremzeek. Yes, I did have to look that up. The key to Victor Sigma, the clone control helmet, a buzzsaw hand replacement, and of course, a small version of Doomsday's alt mode that other figures can hold, both with a small circular handle for other legend scale figures, see here with DX9 Digger, and with a full-on handle that larger figures should be able to hold on to, again with DX9 Hulky. Lastly, this figure comes with the all-too-important instruction manual and an appropriately tiny collector's card. This figure comes with just about everything that the Masterpiece Megatron figure came with, and the stock can form a flight stand for Doomsday, just like MP Megs. I did not nearly expect this much stuff to come packaged with a figure that's only barely 5 inches tall. For size comparisons, here Doomsday is next to DX9 Warren Pocket Hulky, Classic 06 Voyager Megatron, and my previous review, MMC R30 Nitro. So, this figure is pretty small, and I wasn't expecting much, but this figure is super poseable. Doomsday has a swivel for the head, but with movement from the transformation to look up, and to a lesser extent down as well. A ball joint at the shoulder, though some movement is impeded by his little shoulder humps. Swivel at the elbow, and a nice double elbow bend, though one joint there is tighter than the other. Wrists swivel with how they're pegged in. A beautiful ab crunch. Amazing waist swivel. Ball jointed hips, which by shifting various skirts allows for a straight kick forward, a straight kick back, and a perfect side split. Swivel at the upper and lower thigh, though the lower one does break the sculpt. A knee bend past 90. A perfectly passable ankle pivot, and a great toe bend that means he can shoot from a kneeling position like a backstabbing little prick he is. And Doomsday here might look like his posability would get in the way of a good transformation, but on the contrary, he has quite possibly the most fun transformation I've gotten to work with in quite a while. Though, another note before we get into the transformation. The first time I transformed this guy alongside the instructions was really sucky. But given how much fun I've had transforming him every other time, I think that's more on the legibility of his included instructions rather than any fault with the figure. Anyways, transformation time. Alright, my apologies if that transformation was a little hard to follow, but here we have the gun mode. All of the robot's details hide away perfectly into a nicely proportioned little handgun. The only indications of this figure's robot mode are some toes sticking out of the bottom of the handle, and some details from the lower torso at the trigger of the gun. Other than those little blemishes, the gun mode looks amazing. It's smaller than any actual handgun, but it's just small enough that if you have a Titan-class figure with abnormally large hands, like, I don't know, maybe an Earthrise Scorponok, you might be able to coax Doomsday into his hands. The silencer is pretty easy to attach, with a pop-off of the tip of the barrel, sliding that into the back end of the silencer, combining two pieces and attaching the silencer. The stock is similarly easy to attach, sliding in on the back of the handle. But this leads me to my previous point. The piece where Doomsday's stock attaches is painted, and as such, some minor paint chipping has occurred. It's not super noticeable, but at least to me, compared to some of the other figures I've handled, it is a thing that happens, so be prepared for that. The fusion cannon, or scope as someone who knows how to use a gun would call it, is quite nice as well, though sadly it isn't an option to be able to look through. Maybe I'm spoiled by classic Megatron's see-through scope, but it's a feature I always enjoy. Doomsday more than makes up for it though with how awesome it is in general. For size comparisons, here we have Hulky split into its vehicles, Classics Megatron, and R30 Nitro. So, all in all, to rate this bad boy, I think I'd have to give it a 9 out of 10. Definitely an awesome figure, and if you can find it in an online store near you, jump for it. But to be honest, at least with how I show my figures and all that, it's a lot of accessories and other stuff alongside the figure. I mean, don't get me wrong, I would still give this figure 9 times out of 10. I would get it. But there were just a couple minor things that prevent me from giving a perfect score. Oh, I'm easy to please, so even a bad figure has a place on my shelf, and this is nowhere near the worst thing on my shelf. In fact, it's very much one of the best. Now I just need to find some Legend scale Autobots to go up against my Legends Decepticons. Thanks again for tuning in, everybody. I'm starting to hit my stride a little more in these more edited reviews, and I also might consider going back and redoing some of my old reviews in this more updated style. If you have a figure you think I should review, go ahead and leave it in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you, and I promise I do end up reading every single comment. And as always, have a great rest of your day, everybody. Bye!